Today I'm going to show you how to build out a cheap hatchling enclosure for your Gargoyle Gecko. So right here, it just comes in a set of 10. You can pick them up probably like Target or Walmart, of these Sterilite bins that are 6 quarts. These are just for hatchlings, so keep that in mind. This isn't for a larger gecko, but it's pretty cheap just to buy these with the lids. The other thing I'm going to be using is this solder that I just had purchased off of Amazon. This thing is pretty cheap as well. It definitely wouldn't hurt to get like a better quality one, but this still does the trick, off of Amazon. And then this right here is just a vent from, it's a website called Round Vents, just because it makes it nice to put a vent right on the front of these, and it makes it look clean, but also helps out with the airflow and the humidity. Instead of just putting a bunch of holes over this, I find helps better. And then also, whenever you are going to spray the enclosure, it's easy that you can just put, you know, the whatever you're using to spray, you can just put it up to this and then spray through, rather than, if you don't have the front opening enclosure, rather than taking the lids off of all of these and spraying them one by one, you could just spray them right through the front. First things first, I'm going to make the outline for the hole. All I've used is just a easy little piece of paper. I don't even know where I got this from, and just made a trace. I traced around this here, so that way I'm gonna put it up here and then trace around it with a Sharpie, so then that way I know where to melt the plastic. So I got the hole traced, and by the way, these are 2-inch diameter. I did have the 1-inch ones, but they are just a little bit too small. This, I think, is the perfect amount, because I still put some holes along the side, but this right here, the 2 inches, is the perfect size for these enclosures, so that way it doesn't keep it too wet, but it also isn't letting out too much air through there and drying it out too quick. But all I'm doing is just tracing the circle around there, and then the next step is just to plug in the solder and heat it up so that that tip is really hot. And just make sure you're in a ventilated area, because you definitely don't want to breathe that in. But all you're gonna do is just trace around that circle, but yeah, just like that. But just trace it around. All right, now we have the hole. Next thing is to just plug holes into the side here, just like that, but I'm gonna do them all across here. Now we have the holes going all across. You could definitely make it look neater than I can. I just didn't feel like taking the sticker off, so I just made them around it on that side and then on this side. So for the vents, these right here on that website, on the Round Vents, there's a couple different ones that they have. Make sure it's the ones that look like this. I forget exactly what they call them. Make sure it's just the ones that have the prongs on the back and then are just the screen, because all you have to do is just put it right there. Then on the back side, you just take those prongs and then just, oops, I'm gonna cut back to this with it on there, but basically you just take the prongs and then just bend them across just like that. All right, so once that's in, just like that, the prongs are bent as far back as they can go. The best thing about these hatchling quarts that I use is one piece of paper towel fits it perfectly. So you don't have to use like multiple towels or measure them out or anything. One piece fits it perfectly if that's what you choose to use for their substrate. And then in terms of putting what goes inside of their enclosure is just, sometimes I will use just paper towel rolls. You got to change these out just like you would with the paper towels, or you can use cork tubes and then always add fake plants as well. So for this one, I will be using the paper towel tube, just because I didn't have any cork rounds at the moment. But just keep in mind, you can use these, you just have to change them out as you spray them, or they poop on them, or get food on them. And then just a plant. And remember guys, this is just for a hatchling, you know, to get them started. Once they're started, then you can move them up to like a 16-quart tank, or a larger, if you're doing equivalent glass enclosure, or PVC. This is to get them started. This way, I know their enclosure's small, it's easy to monitor them. They can feel secure in here. And I can also make sure that I know that they're eating and they don't have any issues with them. So the only thing that you'll need from here is just the hatchling gecko. This guy's only like a week old. So just let him in there. Let them go. This will be good. Like I said, till they get a little bit bigger and get started eating everything. And then just throw the top on it. You can stack them on top of each other, or just, you know, put it up there. But this is a really easy and effective way of making a hatchling enclosure. So guys, thanks for watching again. Hopefully this helps if you're starting to have some babies around and you don't want to, you know, have to buy a bunch of 8x8x12 front opening enclosures or anything like that. This is probably the best thing for a hatchling, just because you don't want to throw them into like a 12x12x18 either. You want to keep them secure. You want to be able to monitor them. And then also, when you're putting their PNG down there, it makes it much easier for them to smell it out and then eat it. So hopefully this helps, guys. As always, make sure to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and send me a message if you have any questions. Thanks.